Hello there, this is Aaron from InvestorCarrot, here to talk about how many sites you really need and help answer that question. We get it a lot. People are trying to figure out, well, exactly who am I trying to target and who am I trying to reach and what's the best strategy to use to do that? How do I generate leads for my business? And, really this is about knowing your target audience, and the way that you're approaching that business should really dictate the way that you build your sites. And so knowing your audience is really key to kind of establishing a good content marketing plan. And that's, of course, what the InvestorCarrot platform is built to do, is to help you execute a good content marketing and SEO plan right from the beginning with less hassle, less stress, and a whole lot more results than some of the other products that are out there. But back to this audience question, who is your audience? Who are you trying to reach? There's usually three different groups that websites that are on our service tend to cluster into: investors, sellers, and dwellers. And a good example of each, like cash buyers are a great type of investor, somebody who's out there buying homes for cash, buying properties. A lot of times it's really beneficial to be building up a list of investors who are looking for discount properties in your area. That's a lot of what InvestorCarrot sites do. Then, of course, a completely different type of site is sellers. Our seller sites are ones that help target sellers of property. Often those are discount properties, properties in foreclosure, also known as distressed homes. A lot of times they're in need of a great deal of repair, and people are looking to sell those fast, usually to cash buyers. Again, that's the investors on the other type of site. But then the third group is dwellers. These are tenants and retail buyers, people who are going to pay top value for the home they want, the home of their dreams. And that big question remains, why do they all need a different message? Can't I just have all those people met on one site? And often you see those sites that kind of look confusing, they look cluttered, there's not a clear call to action. That's when those three different audiences are kind of muddled on one site. And sending a clear message, this is a good example. Do you really want a seller facing foreclosure hearing that you make investors tons of money off of discounted properties? Is that the type of message that you want to send to a seller? Or should that seller site be totally separate, where they're just seeing the message about what help you're going to bring to them in this time of need? And the service that you provide, of course, is a fast offer, cash, a fair price, really different than the message you're sending to investors. So think about it this way. If we divide those lists up again, the motivation behind an investor is going to be profit. They're looking for the best deal. They're looking for a long-term strategy perhaps, or maybe they're looking for short-term value. Either way, you can kind of send different messages, but they're all centered around the same audience, and that's a profit-focused audience. Sellers, of course, they're looking for help, and they want somebody who can provide a service. So the more that you can talk about your involvement in the community and what you do as a service to help build the community and help people get out of foreclosure, help people alleviate the stress of divorce situations, tax sales, or other reasons why people might be needing assistance in a time of crisis. And that's going to be a very different message as well from a dweller, somebody who's an end user, a retail purchaser, somebody you want to pay the highest price. It's really about them living a dream. They're aspiring to be more than where they are now. And that aspirational message should be totally different than the one that you're sending to somebody who's kind of in distress and in crisis. They're not going to respond well to glitz and flash and a lot of stuff that looks like you're making a lot of money off of distressed people. So jumping into kind of how does that relate to a website? Well, it's really about making one site per target audience. So you can have as many pages as you want, folks, on the InvestorCarrot system. So you can have a dozen different lead pages, sometimes known as squeeze pages, that capture information that might trade, let's say, a report to an investor might be traded for an email address. And that's all built into the system. So you're going to be able to see those different types of pages. There's a bunch of great templates in there that are tested and proven to work for conversions. Each one of those you can create on a site, but you kind of want to make a separate site for each target audience where you're looking to build lists. And of course, this is what folks are already doing to build different separate lists within their target markets. Jumping ahead, again, this is an illustration that shows you just the possibilities of many pages, one site. It's part of a good SEO strategy, because when you're working to rank your site high in search rankings, more pages, more content will help you get there. So you want to have as much content as possible, as much good content as possible on your site, and keep adding and growing to that. But it should all be focused towards that target audience. So in this case, this is a We Buy Houses site in Birmingham. If you want to sell your house, this has got tons of pages about selling your house, different circumstances that person might be facing, different foreclosure situations, tax sales, distress, frequently asked questions about foreclosure. This is all built into the system. This information's all there already. You just have to go in and modify, make some quick edits, launch the site, and then start growing, start adding, start testing, and start marketing that site to grow that list within that target audience. So, because folks, this is a good strategy that's working for huge companies. This is this coming in the side door strategy. So people are not coming in through your home page, they're coming in through these squeeze pages. They're coming into a blog post that's written exactly to a search term that they're using. So once they search that search term, they're going to see your blog post. They're not necessarily going to see the front page of your website. And that's why it's so important to know your target audience and have a separate one for each site, because they're coming in the side door. They might see any message you've got on that site, so you've got to be very careful about the message you're sending. This is all part of a long tail SEO strategy. It's based on the idea that the more generic the search that you do is kind of the big body of the site, but there's actually more searches being done in narrow target searches. And I'll give another example of this in a second. Just wanted to mention, we've kind of done a lot of the work for you here. You can jump over to oncarrot.com/SEO-report, and you can see examples of the top used keyword searches for investors. And all this relates to we want to give you shortcuts to make search engine optimization easier for you. That's all there. Trevor's done the work for you. Check that out. So, but I hopefully understand this is the idea of like casting a wide net. Each one of those searches is like a fish coming down the river, and having a different piece of content on your site that catches that specific fish will allow you to get a lot of fish in your net. So we've helped you by building that net there. All you have to do is toss it into your market and help it get ranked. If there's searches, if there's fish coming down that river, the net will help you out. If there's not fish swimming in it, unfortunately the best net in the world isn't going to help you catch them. So that kind of relates to a different question. Is there search activity in your market? Not answering that in this video, but there's definitely ways to research that, check through the site, look through the blog. We've done a lot of the homework for you. We're here to help. So, but I want to get back to some of those examples to illustrate the difference between generic search terms, more specific search terms, and targeted search terms. This is a targeted search optimization strategy, has the local keyword search terms within the page. We've built a lot of this stuff in those pages, in that content that's included on the Carrot site. Once you sign up and once you launch it, you just have to go in there. The more specific and targeted the phrase, the lower the traffic, but it's easier to rank and the more targeted the traffic will be. I hope that makes sense. It's a part of a target marketing strategy for your content. I hope you see some of the potential now of how this search optimization strategy works. This is all good content marketing strategy for real estate investors, brought to you by InvestorCarrot. So jump in, sign up, start leveraging your Carrot system today. Again, all these lead pages, squeeze pages, and search engine optimization tools are built into the site and included. And you can build as many sites as you want, but you really only need those 3 core sites to tackle almost any market. If you have any questions, just get in touch with us. We'd love to help you out, and can't wait to see you on board.